Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Dan Del Real Show. My name is Dan Del Real. I'm a real estate investment specialist with KW Commercial Property Team, and I'm based out of Merced, California. This is the place to be to learn about real estate investing, entrepreneurship, and also general happenings around Merced, California. Every week we drop new shows on Tuesday. If you find value in this content and you want to learn more, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and also hit the bell so that you get notifications whenever new content drops. All right, so in my day-to-day business, I talk to a lot of people every day about real estate, and everybody's different. You know, some people aspire to own real estate, some people have owned real estate for a long time, and there's a spectrum, right? Not everybody's the same, but one of the things that I do see, a common thread, people who are uncertain about their real estate investment returns. And, you know, there's a couple of reasons for that. One of the reasons is they don't have a plan or a strategy for buying, holding, and selling real estate. They don't really have a way to measure performance. And also they're not really sure about how to compare what their investment's doing or potential investment that they're thinking about buying to other alternative investments. And so there's a lot of uncertainty, and you know, there's kind of a feeling of, well, you know, I know owning real estate has benefits, but I'm not really certain about, you know, what I'm doing, or am I doing the right thing? And so what I'm going to be talking about today is the cash flow model. So the cash flow model is a tool to make sure that you're making good investment decisions based on wise principles. So the cash flow model is really the foundation for creating your real estate investment strategy. And once you learn how to apply the cash flow model, you can feel certain and have clarity about your decisions instead of feeling lost and, you know, uncertain. All right, so today we're going to be looking at the 4 components of the cash flow model. This, you know, think of it as an introduction to the very same model that real estate investment professionals are using every day to help guide and instruct and advise their clients on making the very best real estate investment decisions possible. So this is something that I learned from the CCIM Institute. This is something I was taught. This is what I teach my clients. This is what I teach my team members. And it's a proven model that you can apply as well. You know, I'm affiliated with Keller Williams, and Gary Keller, one of our founders, often talks about models. And really what a model is, it's like a recipe. So, you know, if you're gonna think about, you know, making a dish, if you're gonna make something, you can kind of try to figure it out by yourself, you know, do a bunch of trial and error, figure out what works, what doesn't work, and over time, you know, you could make a great dish. Or you could jump to a recipe. You could take a recipe from someone who has gone before you, someone who maybe has had that recipe passed down and figured out this is exactly how you do, you know, how you make the dish. And that's really what models are. A model is like a recipe that you can follow that has produced proven results, desired results, results that are good. And so, you know, when I talk about the cash flow model, that's exactly what it is. It's a proven strategy. It's a recipe that you can follow to help you get the best investment returns possible. All right. So the 4 components of the cash flow model are initial investment, annual cash flows from operations, cash flows from dispositions, and also the holding period. So when you have those 4 components of the cash flow model, you have everything that you need to complete your real estate investment analysis. So let's dig into each one of the components. All right, so the first component of the cash flow model is your initial investment. And, you know, think about this as your down payment. You know, this is, if there's financing involved, there's typically going to be an appraisal. There might be, definitely in today's market, you know, people are paying down points All of those things, if you add those up, that equals your initial investment. So that's something that you need to get clarity on. All right, so the second component of the cash flow model is your annual cash flows from operations. Now, the way that you figure this out is you first look at the income, how much income is being produced by the asset. And then you also look at the expenses. What are the expenses that you need to pay? If there's financing involved, you look at that as well, and you figure out, how much do I pay for my mortgage? So you take the income, you minus the expenses. That gives you a net income or net operating income, also called NOI, and then you subtract your debt service, and that gives you your cash flows before tax. So that's your annual cash flows from operations. All right, so the third component of the cash flow model is cash flows from the disposition or sale of the property. So one of the benefits of owning real estate, in general, over a long period of time, property values rise. And when you go to sell a property, if you bought it right, you're gonna have sale proceeds. And so, that's something that you have to take into account when you're analyzing your investment. How much cash is coming back to me when I sell it? And if you've done things right, hopefully you're at a positive, right? Unfortunately, there are instances where you can be at a negative, but hopefully that's not the case, or you have a plan or strategy or help from an agent who's helped to guide you along the way, so that's a non-issue. All right, so the fourth component of the cash flow model is your holding period. How long are you going to hold and own this real estate asset for? And it can be a variety of numbers. It can be short-term, long-term. Generally, what we see most common is a 5-year holding period or a 10-year holding period, at least from an investment perspective. That's going to help you get a couple of good looks at how this asset could perform. But then there's real life. Nothing ever really goes exactly according to your plan. So you might project out for 5 to 10 years, but in all actuality, you might own an asset for 3 years, 4 years. It could be 7 years, who knows? But the holding period is the fourth component of the cash flow model. All right, so when you have those 4 components, the initial investment, the annual cash flows from operations, cash flows from disposition, and also the holding period, you have everything you need to run your investment analysis. So think of this as your minimum data set. This is what you need to get in order to make a good informed decision about buying investment real estate. So this is why it's so important to understand, what are the financials. So in real estate, you often hear people talk about the financials, they have to look at the numbers, and this is what they're talking about. So we need to know what's the income that's been generated, what are the expenses, and without that information, you're really just guessing. You're making a guess. So you need that information. You can't make your investment analysis without it. Once you know that information, you can understand, what's the potential for this real estate investment, and you can also compare it to other alternative investments. Once you know how to do that, and you can compare investment alternatives, you can decide, well, which are the right investments to own. You can make a good decision between option A, option B, or option C. There's measures of performance that you could apply. That's really going to help give you the clarity that you need to make a good real estate decision. And so that's something that we're going to be digging into in future videos. Next week, we'll continue to dig into the cash flow model. So if this makes sense to you, if you found value in the information that we've talked about today, do me a favor, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you get notifications whenever they drop. And also, as we grow the channel, help us get the word out. So, share this channel, share this video with someone that who could benefit from this information. So every week on Tuesday, we're gonna be dropping a new video. It's our goal to equip you with the information, the proven, usable, actionable real estate strategies that you need to help you make good investment decisions and get the returns that you want so you could design the life that you want to live. Ultimately, it's not about money. Money's great, we need it to live, but the more money that you make, or the better your returns are, it opens up options for you, and you have more freedom and options to live the life that you want. So that's what we're dedicated to making happen here. All right, guys, well, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you spending time with me, and look forward to seeing you again next week.